Bet you never thought you'd see me again, did you? Normally I talk about books and things. I have not talked about anything in a really long time. I am legit filming this on August 28th. I don't know why I'm saying it's legit, like I would be lying to you about the date that I'm filming this. Just be prepared for it to be even more chaotic than normal. Hey everybody, it's Audrey. What is going on? Welcome back, welcome to the channel. If you are even still here, I have been gone for a really long time, but you know that. If you follow me, you know I haven't been around. And I don't even have like an answer for it other than like this world that we're living in. So I have just been trying to go with the flow and do what feels right and do what feels good. And part of what felt good was to not feel pressured to be on camera and make videos and edit and just put myself out there for a while because I just wasn't feeling extroverted, although I never am because I'm a giant introvert, but I just wasn't feeling it. And days turned into weeks, which turned into months, and my God, we are a week away from Labor Day, and that is nuts. Like, I really don't even know how time is moving in this warped world that we're all living in. But I'm just gonna go with it. I'm gonna film some videos when I feel like filming videos. I'm going to maybe do one a week. We'll see what happens. I'm not gonna lock myself into a specific day. We're just gonna go with it. The upside of not having filmed in months is I have a lot of books to talk about. So there is some inherent content that I have to film, so there will be no excuse there. I have shopped for a whole bunch of books. So there's a little book haul stuff down that way. So that's a whole video in and of itself. And there's a whole bunch of books coming out still that I'm super excited about with Ruth Ware and other people that have books coming out this year, and I'm completely blanking because, as usual, I did not script or plan and I'm winging it, and I just decided, let me pull out the camera. I have been itching a little bit to do this, and it's end of day Friday after yet another weird long work week at home, and I just decided to sit down and do it. So deep breath, deep breath. So I have been reading a ton, which is good. I have watched a bunch of TV and movies and stuff. I have updated some stuff on my Goodreads, so you guys might already be aware of some of these books. And thank you to people who have reached out to me or sent me messages just to check in and see what's going on. It's lovely hearing from you guys. And I didn't mean to ghost everyone and just drop off the planet, but I did. But I'm back, I'm here. I never actually went anywhere. Literally never went anywhere. And we're just gonna talk about some of the books. We're gonna get through some of them and we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens. Let's just go. So the first thing I was gonna talk about is the book I am reading right now, and I am about a third of the way into It's Always the Husband by Michelle Campbell. And this has been on my shelf for a very long time. And I will be honest, it's just one of those books that I was really interested in. So it's about 3 friends who went to college together. It's 2 timelines. And in the present day, one of them dies, it sounds like. I haven't gotten that far yet, but it's on the back of the book. It says one of them dies under mysterious circumstances. Well, everyone assume, as is often the case, that it's always the husband. So they are 3 friends who met freshman year in college. They were roommates, and we fast forward 22 years. They are all married. They're being reunited. And I don't know who yet, but I know that somebody's gonna die. So I'm enjoying it so far. And the reason I picked it up is I was watching Alexa Dunn's kind of wrap up of some reads that she read, and she mentioned this book, and I was like, you know what, I have that. I'm gonna read that next. And I was in the middle of a different book, which I have soft DNF'd for now. I'm not gonna tell you what that one is, because in case I hard DNF it, I don't wanna like poo-poo it just yet. But right now, that book starts, it kind of feels like a book that needed editing done to it, because it doesn't totally, I feel like it doesn't totally make sense timeline wise, and like I can't quite follow what's going on, but it's supposed to kind of be a little mystery-ish. So there is a dead body in that book already. So I'm not sure if it's designed to keep me off balance or it's just not well written. So there's a cliffhanger for you. Stay tuned for that. So my summer reads books are going to be a little bit all over the place in some ways and completely predictable in other ways, by which I mean I read a lot of thrillers. So again, I'm not going to talk about these in any particular order other than the first book I'm going to talk about is probably the one I am most excited about and loved to pieces and anticipated till like, Riley Sager, Home Before Dark. This is like one of the last things I posted on Instagram. So I love Riley Sager. I loved this book. I'm so excited about it. So I got this book as part of a event that was held by Murder by the Book in Houston, Texas. So he was supposed to be down there to launch the book. It obviously didn't happen because of COVID. So they wound up doing an online event. So you could, if you bought the book, you like got a ticket to be able to watch him be interviewed by Abby from Crime by the Book. And you got an autographed copy of the book. You guys, I'm just blah. And if you did it far enough in advance, you could get a personalized book. So I got myself, is it gonna focus? It's probably gonna focus on me. A personalized book. I'm so excited. I just love him to pieces. I was so awkwardly introverted at the last Thriller Fest that I did not get him to autograph my book last year because I was just so shy and weird and everything. But I'm so happy to have this. I have been just huge fan. So anyway, absolutely loved this book. I read it in a couple of sittings. I literally spent an entire Saturday basically like reading it, stopping to like make food and then read it while I ate the food, like laid in bed and read it. And I just read it until I was done. So this is 2 timelines. I'm not gonna go too deep into it because nobody wants that to happen. Going blind. Basically what you need to know, this is his homage to Amityville Horror. We have a girl, Maggie, woman Maggie, who returns to the house that she lived in when she was 5 years old for like a sum total of 20 days before her parents took her out in the middle of the night. And her dad wrote this, what became infamous horror nonfiction memoir about their experiences living in this haunted house. And it was the House of Horrors. And he became famous. And Maggie became an unwilling character in the book, and her entire life was shaped by it. And her entire life, she basically thought her parents were full of it and that what he said happened never actually happened. So she is a house flipper. She is going back to fix up the house so she can get rid of it. But sure enough, strange things are afoot in the House of Horrors. So well done, well done, well done. If you guys follow me, you know Final Girls is my favorite Riley Sager book, and this is tied for first, so it is right up there. And the cover also glows in the dark, which I'm not going to turn. I can't turn out the lights because it's just daylight is what we're sitting in, but it glows in the dark too, so all the cool feels. If you're not reading Riley Sager, you need to be. And normally I say start with Final Girls, but if you prefer haunted house things, start here. It's amazing. So I did not plan to read a bunch of books about houses, but another book that I picked up, and I talked about this in the last book haul that I posted, which I think is the last video I posted, and it's Catherine House by Elizabeth Thomas. And I was really excited about this book. It read right up my alley, and it is gothic-y. It's a college, but it's for 3 years, but the college basically sounds like Skull and Bones, and it is, you are selected to go, it is only the best of the best, it is the elite, they are Supreme Court justices, presidents, prize-winning scientists, the best minds, artists, inventors, and the lucky few who are selected. So your tuition, your room and board, your everything is paid for, and you get to spend 3 years at Catherine House and your life will be forever changed. And this was kind of pitched as like a gothic-y thriller, I feel like. So this book, I'll be honest, I almost feel like I'm too dumb to get it. Like this book maybe went over my head and like I missed something really big because there were parts of it that I liked, but I feel like I never quite totally got it. And I felt like there was great potential, but then there were parts where I was like, what just happened? And I knew that like there was gonna be a mystery and a body, but it was not in a conventional way that I expected. So it wasn't like dead body trying to solve the investigation, because we literally follow all 3 years in the school. And we follow mostly our main character, Inez, and then she kind of has like a circle of friends, and there's some weird teachers, and there's just some strange stuff going on in Catherine House. So I have a hard time talking about this one without ruining it, but I will say kind of like the core of what this book is about, like the kind of core mystery of the school, kind of underwhelmed me. And then what I couldn't also quite figure out is like all these people graduate from the school and have Supreme Court justices and the best inventors and artists and all these things, and they go on to be super successful. But it's like this weird rundown, kind of semi-described as like a crap hole at some point. So like usually graduates like give money back and fund the school, and I don't know, something just felt like not quite right. So I liked it in a lot of ways. I didn't like it in some ways. Again, I almost just feel like I'm too dumb. So I'm curious if anybody else read this. I saw that Kayla at Books and Lala is doing this as her next Something Dead book club. Why am I blanking on the name of her book club? The book club that she does. So I'm really interested to watch the live show of that to see what people think of it, but I wanted more out of this book, so I was disappointed in that sense. So I liked some of the writing style. Super curious. It's stunning. I might just be dumb. If you watched my mid-year freakout tag video, then you know I listened to You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson, and I adored this book. Highly recommend it. Reese Witherspoon just picked it as one of her books too, so I feel like it's gonna get even more much deserved fanfare. This is about a girl named Liz Leidy who is a senior in high school, and she is small town in all respects. Small-minded people are there, small town life. She just can't wait to get out. She gets into college, but she doesn't get the scholarship money that she was banking on, so she needs some money. So Liz winds up doing the unheard of for Liz, and she winds up running for prom court because at her high school, prom is the biggest thing that has ever hit this town, and you get a $10,000 scholarship if you are king or queen. So she's gonna do the thing that nobody thought she was gonna do, and she's gonna run for prom court, and she just is gonna give it her all, and I'm gonna knock over stuff on my bookshelf in the process. But it is just such a well done book. I love Liz as a character. She's complicated, she's funny, she's got struggles with things, she's got her whole family life, she's got some complicated friendships, she's got an ex-best friend that kind of comes back into her life, even though they've been in the same high school the entire time, but they kind of get reunited, running for prom court. And the hitch is that not only is Liz doing something that she would never do, because she's just not the prom kind of a gal, but she also falls in love with one of the competition for prom queen. And now she is running against someone that she has hardcore crush feelings for. So it is part love story, part friendship, part family, all the things. And I just loved it. I loved it. There were some great sentimental moments. Again, I'm sorry, this is repeat if you've seen my other video, but there's like the Say Anything boombox moment in it. There are some real heartwarming moments. There's some classic Mean Girl high school stuff going on in it. But all in, I totally enjoyed the book. The audiobook was really well done. I highly recommend it. I also listened to 2 books by Jennifer Lynn Barnes in her debutante series. So it is Little White Lies is the first book, and Deadly Little Scandals is the second book. And this is about a girl named Sawyer. It's like Southern Belles kind of a thing. And like, bear with me. So Jennifer Lynn Barnes wrote the series The Naturals, which I really enjoyed the first book of because it's all I read. And then they took all of her books off of Hoopla, so I didn't get to read more in that series. But these are a new series that she wrote. And it's kind of like Gossip Girl, but a little bit of there's like a little One Tree Hill vibe to it, but there's a little Veronica Mars mystery to it. So it's like all the high school things in book one. They are seniors in high school. Sawyer is kind of on her gap year between high school and college. And then the second book is the summer before everyone goes to college. So Sawyer's deal is her mom had her when she was a teenager, so you kind of get a little Gilmore Girl vibes there too, from a super rich family, but her family basically disowned her because she got pregnant when she was 16. And Sawyer and her mom wind up moving, I think, like 45 minutes away. But Sawyer has never known her grandmother or her family. And her grandmother comes down, finds her, and is basically like, come live with me for a year and I will pay your tuition, is basically the short version of it. And Sawyer can't say no because she wants to go to school. She's taking a gap year mostly to earn money to be able to go to college, and she kind of figures how bad could it be. So up she goes the 45 minutes to live with her super rich grandmother, and she meets her cousin and her aunt and her uncle and her other cousin and all these people. And basically there is a mystery in book one. Of a lot of what's driving it is Sawyer doesn't know who her father is, and her mother won't tell her, but all she knows is that it's someone that her mom did cotillion with, her sort of coming out, her Southern cotillion, I think that's what it was called. And Sawyer's on a mission to find out who her dad is. So it's totally not called cotillion, by the way. That's wrong. Let's be honest, have you guys missed how bad I am at this? Because the name of the series is the Debutante series. It's the Debutante Ball. So anyway, book number one is driven by Sawyer trying to find out who her father is, and then we layer in all sorts of family complications, and then there's a mystery with her cousin and her cousin's friends, and it's like just a whole bunch of like Southern rich privileged people, and it was soapy and it was drama, and I loved it. And I listened to the audiobook of both of these, and it was cotton candy, and it was like palate cleansing, and it was just what I needed when the entire world around us is wow. It was great. I can't wait for a book 3 to come out. I don't know when that's gonna happen. I was totally down for it. Again, a lot of tropes that you find in all those kind of TV shows. I love me high school stuff. I do, but they are smart and they're well written and there's some good humor to it. And Sawyer's just like that girl that she's reluctant to give into the rich life, but then she gets pulled into the rich life. And there were just a few moments that I wasn't like totally jazzed about, but as a whole, completely entertaining, very much like watching an episode of Gossip Girl and One Tree Hill and all those shows. So if that's your jam, these books are definitely worth a listen and fun. Another thriller that I read is John Mars's What Lies Between Us. I was gonna say Among Us. What Lies Between Us. This was a super fast read, and well, I will say there were some things that I did figure out. So this book did not make me feel dumb. It did not lessen my enjoyment of the book because he writes a damn good book and really good characters. And this is about 2 women, and I'm going to just keep it to the brief back cover because it's another one, all thrillers, you gotta go in a bit blind. So it says, they say every house has its secrets, and the house that Maggie and Nina have shared for so long is no different, except that these secrets are not buried in the past. Every other night, Maggie and Nina have dinner together. When they are finished, Nina helps Maggie back to her room in the attic and into the heavy chain that keeps her there. Because Maggie has done things to Nina that can't ever be forgiven, and now she's paying the price. But there are many things about the past that Nina doesn't know, and Maggie is going to keep it that way, even if it kills her. This book was great. This book was messed up. She chains her up. Damn, it was great. It was really, really good. I totally enjoy his writing. I enjoy John Mars as an author, as an interview. You guys know I'm still riding hard on those podcasts that I listen to, but I whipped through this book really, really quickly. I was really curious to see how it was going to end up. There are 2 points of view. We get some dueling timelines, so to speak, and he crafts a really good mystery. I enjoyed it. I really, really did. I dog-eared a whole bunch of pages. Like I said, I figured out some things. There were some things I didn't see coming, but all in, thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed this book. Highly, hugely recommend him. His book, The One, is amazing. That is being made into, I want to say, an Netflix, Amazon show, one or the other. It's being made into a show and it's so good. So I need to read more of his books because I am failing at life. This is only the second of his that I have read, but I loved it. Another audiobook I listened to is Dear Martin by Nick Stone, and I am really glad I did this on audio because I think so many books, the literal voice changes your experience with it. And in this book, so this is about a boy named Justice who lives in or outside Atlanta and goes to a prep school down there as a senior. You're seeing a theme probably with some of these books where I'm reading about high school seniors. And Justice, in the opening pages of the book, becomes sort of the victim of police racial profiling. And his girlfriend is drunk and she's kind of threatening to drive. He is pulling her out of the driver's seat, putting her in the back seat of her Mercedes, BMW, whatever fancy, rich, she's got a lot of money, car that she has. And the police stop and see him and they profile him. He is a black teen, he is wearing a hoodie, and his girlfriend is biracial, but she passes for white, and they immediately make an assumption that he is basically carjacking her, attacking her, and he gets arrested. And understandably, this situation completely changes his perspective on so many things and makes him question a lot. And he winds up working through his anger and his confusion and his frustration and looking for answers by writing letters to Dr. Martin Luther King. And that's why it's called Dear Martin. And we switch between Justice writing the letters and then seeing Justice's life in the school. And it is a really short book, or I shouldn't say it's really short. It's 200 pages, kind of short, but it packs so much into it. And it is interesting and it is thought-provoking, and it is everything from this very blatant racial profiling that happens with a police officer to some much more subtle racism that he has to deal with at school, and seeing how his friends interact and seeing what like his best friend accepts as okay from other people at school. I'm butchering this completely, but it's a really interesting perspective. I think it's a really interesting way of doing the book, how he's writing letters and not expecting an answer, obviously, but watching Justice work through everything, there were moments in this book that shocked me. There were moments in this book that like broke my heart. There were moments in this book where I was cheering for him. I am new to Nick Stone. I have listened to some podcasts with her and really turned me on to her and her writing, and I really enjoyed this book. And there is a sequel, Dear Justice, coming out in September, I want to say. I feel like dates are completely wonky right now. I'm pretty sure it's still on target for September, so I'm excited to read that too. But I really found this to be a powerful read, and again, the audiobook was great. I highly recommend the audio. There are not the majority, but there's like little snippets of like a news story, and you hear like the, you know, the do news hour, blah blah blah, you know, like kind of when they do the podcast on the audiobooks. So I thought the audiobook itself was really well done, and the book itself was really well written. So I have Jackpot by Nick Stone, which I haven't read yet, but I'm excited to dive into more of her books. And her story about how she became inspired to become an author, I find inspiring as well. And I want to say Jackpot she wrote during NaNoWriMo one year. I know she definitely wrote one of her books during NaNoWriMo, and I'm pretty sure it's Jackpot. So I will be checking that out and letting you guys know. But Dear Martin was definitely a really worthwhile, really good read. I also read some nonfiction books this month, or this month. And the first one is This Book is Anti-Racist by Tiffany Jewell. And I talked about this maybe in one of my hauls earlier this summer, but this book is 20 lessons on how to wake up, take action, and do the work. And this book is definitely targeted towards a young adult audience, but I will be honest, it didn't read young to me, or I didn't feel too old for this book. And that might say something about where I am in my personal journey, but I found this to be a very relatable, like talking to your best friend who's explaining stuff to you and is breaking it down, and it is part historical, it is part doing some exercises, like literally like writing stuff down, forcing you to think about things in a new way, take a look at yourself, take a look at the world around you, take a look at the education you've had, question things, and in some ways push you into an uncomfortable place. But it's eye-opening in a lot of ways, but in a very friendly way, if that makes sense, in that I think it is great to give to young adults if there are young adults in your universe. I think if you are trying to teach your children about anti-racism, this is a great book to read together or to give to them. And no matter where you are on your own personal journey, I think it's a great book because it is so jam-packed with information, but it doesn't feel like you're being heavy with information, and this will make sense in half a minute, I hope. But I really enjoyed this book. There's some great illustrations in it also. This book focuses on all marginalized voices. So it will talk about Black, Indigenous, people of color. It will talk about LGBTQ. There is just so much important, powerful information in this book, and I highly, highly recommend it. The other nonfiction book is White Fragility by Robin DiAngelo. And in contrast to this book, it's anti-racist. This book to me was very heavy, and not in content, although content of both of these books is heavy in a lot of ways, but in like the language of it, I felt like I was reading a textbook. Whereas this book is anti-racist is your friend telling you her story and explaining anti-racism to you. White Fragility to me felt like a highly educated person explaining things to me that I need to know, but in just a heavier textbooky kind of a way. And there were parts of it like early on where I was like, ugh. I just felt like completely clouded over because it was so much stuff. And I wound up getting the audiobook and dancing between the two, and that helped me because I was having a hard time not just getting lost in pages and pages and words and words and content and content and content without it feeling personalized. Whereas this book is anti-racist, has a personal overview on it. I don't know if that's making any sense, but White Fragility I think is an equally important book to read. It shined a light on my own ignorance in a lot of ways, and I knew that was going to happen, and I was fine with that happening. It didn't make me angry in that way. It made me embarrassed in a lot of ways. It was eye-opening in a lot of ways. And there were things that, there were like moments in the book where I was like, yep, that's true. And it was eye-opening is the best way for me to describe it. So it is a book that I will definitely go back to and read again. I think I just got really sort of like bogged down in a lot of the language of it all. But the audiobook helped a lot. It's also a shorter book. Highly recommend both of them. The beginning of a very long journey ahead for me, but I recommend them both. Both great takeaways. There's great takeaways in both of them. So just be prepared to do some work, to do some introspection. And if you are trying to educate yourself on how to be anti-racist, these are great places to start. I'm gonna cut myself off here. There are so many more books to talk about. First video back, we're just dusting off the wheels and all that good stuff. So if you made it this far, if you even bothered to watch it, if you are even still watching my channel, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope to make more videos. Like I said, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're pushing through. We're doing the best we can. I hope you guys are all doing well. Safe, happy, had a great summer. I can't even believe it's almost Labor Day. This is nonsense, you guys. Comment down below if you are here, if you are watching. Let me know what your favorite book of the summer is, and I will be back at some stage of the game, and when that happens, I will see you guys then. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending part of your day with me, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.